To our graduates, and to their families, friends, and significant others, and to our faculty, alumni, and staff, welcome to the 2020 graduation ceremonies for the London Society at Harvard Medical School and the Harvard-MIT Division of Health, Sciences, and Technology, more succinctly known as HST. This is both a momentous and also somewhat surreal celebration, this being the first and hopefully only virtual graduation we will experience in the history of HST. My name is Rick Mitchell. As one of the associate directors in HST, I'm honored to be asked to host these graduation ceremonies. Since I was among the first people that students met when they arrived at HST, it's also a nice bookend that I can be among the last that they hear from on their way out the door. It's also an honor and a privilege to don the official HST graduation cap and celebrate with all of you. I considered adding an official HST insignia N95 mask this year to kind of complete the effect, but in practice runs, the tassel kept getting caught in the elastic bands. So my responsibilities today are twofold. I am batting lead off on the video you're watching, and I will get the ball rolling by giving you a general overview of the proceedings. I'm also supposed to provide a little levity so that you can go away with a warm and fuzzy feeling about HST, and as a result, will contribute generously when the alumni office calls. The lineup after me includes some pretty heavy hitters in the pantheon of Harvard and MIT faculty. Coincidentally, they are also all HST graduates themselves. In a few moments, you will hear from the Dean of Harvard Medical School, Professor George Daly, who in turn will pass the baton to Dr. Elazar Edelman, the director of the Institute of Medical Engineering and Science, which is the home for HST at MIT. Finally, to round out the lineup of speakers, we will be treated to the wisdom and insights of Justin Rice, a graduating HST MD student who is representing his classmates today. Thereafter, we have a long-standing HST tradition of introducing each of the graduates and recognizing their achievements and future plans. That will involve help from HST co-directors Wolfram Gessling, June Kamihara, and Emery Brown. And then, finally, we can get to the real reason everyone has tuned in, raising a toast and cheering wildly as the new alumni emerge victorious from the clutches of Harvard and MIT. Okay, so that's the game plan. At this point in the script, Patty Cunningham, our High Empress of HST, has simply written, in quotes, Rick makes some comments and tells a few jokes. So I'm on. As an HST faculty member, I've had the privilege to teach most of these students. And I must say, they've given better than they got, constantly challenging us to learn more, and more importantly, to rethink what we thought we already knew. I've also had the pleasure to get to know a lot of the students outside of the classroom and the laboratory, from the ones who have been with us for the traditional four-year plan, to those on the get your money's worth extended plan. Through everything we could throw at them, they've thrived and they've succeeded. I thank all you parents, friends, and loved ones for molding such amazing and amazingly resilient women and men, and for graciously sharing them with us for a while. Okay, so much for the serious stuff, and on to the so-called humor. So here we are, alone together, and maintaining all the appropriate social distancing. I'm pretty sure that none of us ever imagined that we would be celebrating your graduation like this. And obviously, the impact of COVID extends deeply into the lives of the entire planet. This has challenged humanity on every level. And yet, I keep hearing that there may be some silver linings to what we're going through. Consider, we are actually spending more time with our families and devoting more than a moment of introspection for ourselves. Many of us are cleaning out all our old junk drawers and revisiting an old hobby or learning a new skill. There's actually now a shortage of foster animals as people open their hearts to adopt puppies and kittens. Our gardens this year are all going to be awesome, and my hands have never been so clean in my entire life. If you had had the foresight to have bought Zoom stock back in January, you were probably experiencing a platinum lining, far beyond any silver lining. And if you're going into obstetrics, well, there will be a significant spike in demand for your services come the new year. With fewer cars on the road, the air quality around the world has already dramatically improved. And on a purely personal basis, my commute to work, to the hospital, is a dream. Sure, we may be struggling to supply PPEs for everyone, but I never previously appreciated the simple joy of scoring a six-pack of toilet paper. And perhaps one of the most important silver linings, the realization around the globe that what you all do is what will save us. From every walk of life, from world leaders to the average person on the street, there is now the recognition and the appreciation that your science and your medicine, your discovery and your innovation, your empathy and your caring will make all the difference. It's an awesome responsibility, but you've earned it. So congratulations on what you've accomplished, and be rightly psyched for what comes next. When next you see me on this video, you'll know that we will almost be done. So get the champagne ready. And now I'd like to welcome to the virtual podium the Dean of Harvard Medical School, Professor George Daly.
Thank you, Rick. Good afternoon. It's my honor as Dean of Harvard Medical School and a proud alumnus of this program to welcome you to this wonderful celebration. HST graduates, family, friends, alumni, faculty, and staff, thank you for joining us today. To the HST class of 2020, congratulations. You have successfully completed a program that serves as the crown jewel of biomedical research education at Harvard and MIT, the longest running partnership between our institutions and one of the oldest and arguably the country's most prestigious interdisciplinary education program focused on translational medical science and engineering. You now join a close-knit community of some of the most accomplished clinician scientists and biomedical engineers working today. Among them are chairs and chiefs in academic medicine, CEOs and senior leaders at pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies, and alumni responsible for countless groundbreaking innovations. I'm sure that the past weeks leading up to this graduation were in no way what you expected, but I have never been prouder of this community than I am today. We have been separated by distance, but have worked together in unprecedented ways, united in purpose to confront an unprecedented global health crisis. As HST graduates, we share the privilege of having obtained an education that few others will ever have. The world has never needed your skills and your dedication more than today. Even as you were completing your degrees under extremely challenging conditions, you rose to meet that need. Working with Wolfram Gosling, HST's co-director, many of you have helped develop the medical student COVID-19 curriculum. You've emerged as leaders in coronavirus efforts, such as volunteering at the Boston Hope Medical Center, developing 3D printed frames for N95 masks, and numerous other research projects. You are unequivocally among the best students of biomedicine and bioengineering in the world. You've changed lives in the clinic, published foundational papers, developed new technologies, and along the way, won numerous fellowships and awards. You achieve this through your brilliance and talent, but also through earnestness, hard work, humility, and integrity. You have earned the responsibility to practice what you have learned, and you will repay the world for all the tremendous privileges and opportunities of your education through the brilliance of your future scholarship and the compassion of your clinical care. Class of 2020, I cannot wait to see what you will accomplish. I look forward to your continued success. And once again, congratulations. And with that, I cede the virtual podium to Dr. Elazar Edelman, Director of the Institute for Medical Engineering and Science, HST's home at MIT.
Thank you, Dean Daly, and congratulations, dear students, family, and parents. If I had asked your parents to list one special attribute of you as children, they might have said that you were sweet, curious, smart, creative. If I'd asked them as well for a second attribute that was perhaps concerning to them, they might have added that they were worried that you were lonely. A trait that concerned them until they realized that the loneliness followed from your being curious and smart. It was this attribute that allowed you to be creative. Loneliness is not a flaw. It's a basic attribute of the human experience. Every thinking person is at one time lonely. Everyone is at some point socially isolated. In his magnificent tome, The Lonely Man of Faith, the great philosopher and theologian, Rabbi Dr. Joseph Soloveitchik, describes the duality of loneliness, ontological and historical. Ontological loneliness, he explains, arises from the existential yearning and the need of individuals to pursue the secrets of the universe. This quest for understanding is majestic, for it elevates humans to partnership in creation, and yet it is a lonely endeavor. Historical loneliness is the polar opposite. It is the contextual feeling that springs from self-awareness and realization of one's place as immortal against the infinitude of the universe. In contrast to the majesty of investigation, self-consciousness imposes humility in the face of nature's awe, and this too carries the burden of loneliness. Rabbi Soloveitchik explained that humans uniquely must exist in both extremes at the same time, vacillating between majesty and humility in a constant dynamic that imposes pain and future isolation. The clinical scientist and physician investigator know loneliness better than anyone. Every day, she and he push the boundaries of the unknown, soaring with triumphal acquisition of knowledge. Yet, from this lofty perch, the scientist must also admit subjugation to the endless beauty and unfathomable depths of nature. The scientist and clinician especially feel the pains of this constant and instantaneous oscillation between majestic discovery and humility in the face of cosmic awe. Rabbi Soloveitchik further explained that what makes this crushing feeling of loneliness bearable is entree into a covenantal community of the lonely. HST is our covenantal community. It is a society that thrives every day in the isolation of normal academia and medicine, and now especially in a time of absolute imposed isolation. We chose you and you chose us because of your intelligence and curiosity, but more because of your capacity to harness loneliness for creativity and your ability to thrive within our covenantal community. Today, we welcome you as full-fledged members of a community you joined years ago. Our community will endure when all else is lost. Cherish HST, its memories, and above all, the future it holds. For then, when I am next isolated, I know with you as part of our community, I will never be lonely. Congratulations. And now, with great honor, I welcome our class speaker, Justin Rice.
Thank you, Dr. Eidelman. And good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to the HST class of 2020. Let me start by thanking the HST faculty and staff for the opportunity to speak and for the creative leeway. Back when I started writing this speech last night, I was surprised to find that there were no guidelines on the content. So, given that I have a captive audience, and to make this true to the HST preclinical classroom experience, I'm going to spend the next 90 minutes talking about the details of my own research, the impact of Lactobacillus inners and Prevotella bivia on the cervical-vaginal microbiome through IL-6 and IL-8 signaling. Just kidding! No, seriously, I have to address the elephant in the room. Zoom graduation? I wasn't actually planning on graduating at all. I was going to spend May in Mexico, living the good life, sipping margaritas. I had my tickets booked and everything. Rick had even signed off. He was probably thinking, well, at least there's no chance Justin could be our graduation speaker if he's in Mexico. The last thing Rick would want would be for some sarcastic wise guy to make this speech. Not to say I'm having the last laugh. My Mexico trip was canceled, and instead, I'm living with my in-laws in upstate New York on their small farm. Not exactly what I aspired to as a newly minted Harvard doctor. I put up fences with my father-in-law during the day. I play mahjong with my mother-in-law in the evening. 8 bam. My honeymoon was spent chopping wood. My last medical activity was prescribing deworming medication for Fiona, the six-toed semi-feral barn cat. Not even joking. But in all seriousness, I feel very thankful and lucky to be here. A lot of people out there are in truly difficult situations in these strange and tragic times, and it's no joke. And these are strange times to start residency as well. Just imagine, in a few weeks after our first day on the job, people will actually be clapping. Talk about a contrast with how we're treated in medical school, and it's a really special thing, this applause. It's not the laudatory clapping you get for a job well done, like we'll get from our parents today, or to congratulate us on our high board scores and our future earning potential. It's not the sarcastic slow clap either, like I'm probably going to get after this speech, or even the infectious clap from microbiome class. No, it's something much less common than that. It'll be a sincere applause acknowledging sacrifice and bravery, something usually reserved for firefighters and returning soldiers. And what's more, it will be applause entirely unearned by us. Instead, they will be clapping for all those who have come before us, because for some reason that we never learned about in class, healthcare workers and scientists have always been willing to take great risks for their patients and for the public. As bad as it seems now for new graduates, think of the 1850s typhus epidemic, when more than 4 out of every 10 hospital staff members died in performing their duties. Yet the residents kept signing up every year. Those are the people they will be clapping for. Think of Nurse Clara Barton, working on the front lines of the Civil War, literally in the line of fire, and later fighting tirelessly to found the American Red Cross. Think of Dr. Jesse Laziar from microbiome class, who in 1900 let himself be infected with yellow fever in Cuba in order to prove his hypothesis of the mosquito as vector, thus saving thousands of lives, yet tragically losing his own. Think back to cardio class and Dr. Forsman, who performed the first cardiac catheterization by himself, on himself, in 1929, and revolutionized the way that we medicate and measure the heart. Think of the more than 600 healthcare workers who died in the Ebola epidemic of 2014, part of the 40% mortality rate for that disease. Think of our HST faculty members, some of them high risk, who have been called back in from retirement to work as clinicians in this time of great need. Think of Li Wenliang, an attending ophthalmologist in Wuhan, who after attempting to warn his country and the world about a new viral pneumonia, returned to his clinical duties in the hospital, where he was duly infected and succumbed to COVID-19, like so many hundreds of healthcare workers after him. These are the people they will be clapping for. People in extraordinary circumstances, acting courageously for their patients and for the public good. Of course, not everyone will be working clinically, and I hope that none of us have to cath our own hearts. As HST students, we have a unique background and a unique education that we can contribute to the world. But just because we're good at math doesn't mean that our work has to be esoteric. Consider a counterexample. In the early 90s, single drug therapy with an antiretroviral was the treatment for HIV, but people developed AIDS and died nonetheless. Enter Dr. David Ho, HST class of 1978. He noticed that during chronic infection, the virus was in a state of dynamic equilibrium in the body. He performed experiments. He did calculations. He drew up semi-log graphs. And in a series of papers in 1995, he elucidated the governing dynamics of HIV viremia, a coupled set of nonlinear partial differential equations, what he called high school math in a later interview. He and I must have gone to different high schools. Based on these results, he concluded that multi-drug therapy, what we now call HAART, the mainstay of modern HIV treatment, was necessary to combat the disease, revolutionizing HIV treatment and ending its status as a death sentence. The use of partial differential equations to revolutionize medical treatment? There's nothing more HST than that. And it's this example of Dr. Ho that I want to end with. I hope that it can inspire us in the challenging weeks ahead and in the ensuing years of our careers, whether we work in the lab or in the clinic. Inspire us to make an impact. And I don't mean an impact factor or a big financial impact. Inspire us to make an impact on people's lives. That is what the applause is really for. So on our first day in the hospital, when we hear that applause, we should remember, it's not for us. We haven't done anything yet. It's for our predecessors, our teachers, and our mentors, and in the hope that we can follow in their footsteps. Thank you.
My name is Wolfram Gössling, and I am the HMS co-director of the Health Sciences and Technology program. We have a long-standing tradition of sharing information about each of our graduating students. This will give all of you a sense of the depth and breadth of this outstanding class. We hope you enjoy learning more about each one of our graduates. We will begin with students graduating with the MD degree from HST's Medical Sciences program, which trains physician scientists. Together with HST Associate Director Jun Kamihara, I will introduce you to these remarkable individuals. Matthew Baum also received the PhD from Harvard University. Matt dove into the medical engineering waters of the HST MD program and studied microglial-mediated synaptic pruning in psychiatric disease for his PhD, receiving the Dr. Sergei Sanger Award for Excellence in Psychiatry Research. He describes his time at Harvard as rich in intellectual fermentation, in classroom, clinic, lab, and penguin pizza, and actual fermentation. Collaborative efforts in the latter resulted in cranberry mead that was born and consumed in the hallowed halls of Vanderbilt Hall, and microglia ale that was engulfed responsibly out of a Nebuchadnezzar-sized bottle after his PhD defense. His favorite HST moment was seeing the look on Rick's face as Matt, dressed as Santa Bond, hand-delivered the class's final path projects. Matt will complete his psychiatry research track residency at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Todd Brenner, graduating cum laude. Todd was the recipient of a Student Research Award from the Society of American Gastrointestinal and Endoscopic Surgeons. He was also an invited speaker at the American College of Surgeons annual meeting. Outside of his studies, Todd builds furniture and helps teach fundamentals of woodworking at the MIT Hobby Shop. Todd is headed to Johns Hopkins for his residency in internal medicine. Ling-Ya Monica Chow, graduating cum laude. Monica was awarded the Judah Folkman Prize for Clinical Translational Science Research at the 2018 Soma Wise Student Research Day. Active in the community, Monica served as a residential advisor in Vanderbilt Hall and led shelf review sessions for neurology clerkship students. A moment she remembers fondly was representing HST in the hot dog eating contest along with Michael, and finishing an impressive 1 hot dog. Monica will be starting her neurology residency at the University of California, San Francisco. David Cox also received the PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. David is a Harvard University Presidential Scholar. His PhD thesis describing a new RNA editing technology was covered by news outlets including the BBC, the Wall Street Journal, and The Economist. It was also runner-up for Science's 2017 Breakthrough of the Year. This technology formed, in part, the basis for the publicly traded company Beam Therapeutics. His most memorable HST moments are from the first 2 years of medical school, where he formed lifelong friendships with his HST classmates. David is headed to Stanford for an internal medicine residency as part of the Translational Investigator Program. Colin Fatzen also received the PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Colin was a recipient of an NIH National Research Service Award and a David H. Koch Graduate Research Fellowship. Outside of his studies, he was a member of the MIT Symphony Orchestra and a part of the Crimson Care Collaborative. A memorable moment during his program was Lindsay Clinton's snowstorm shopping list, which consisted of milk, bacon, and butter. Colin is headed to Johns Hopkins for a residency in general surgery. Emma Fink, graduating cum laude, also received the PhD from Harvard University. Emma was a recipient of an NIH National Research Service Award and was selected to give a plenary presentation at the American Society of Hematology. Her most memorable HST moments include giving a talk at the annual HST Student Research Forum and bonding with her class at the HMS Society Olympics. Emma is currently participating in virtual rounding at Brigham and Women's Hospital and will continue there for her residency in internal medicine. Sarah Garney, graduating cum laude. Sarah participated in genetics research during her time in HST, where she was involved in the discovery of a novel mechanism by which non-coding variants cause congenital facial paralysis. She was also an active member of the MIT Figure Skating Club. Her most memorable HST moments include visits with HST docs Tucker and Dallas. After graduation, Sarah will join the ophthalmology residency program at the University of Michigan. Scott Goodwin, graduating cum laude. Scott's honors include an International Society for Magnetic Resonance in Medicine Summa Cum Laude Merit Award for oral presentation, a Judah Folkman Prize for Clinical Translational Science Research Honorable Mention at Soma Weiss Student Research Day, and selection to present at the Society of Abdominal Radiology National Conference, and selection to present at the Society of Abdominal Radiology National Conference. Active in the community, Scott served as an HST MD Curriculum Committee student representative and a teaching assistant for radiology education in the Pathways Anatomy course. Scott also enjoyed playing HMS intramural soccer. His most memorable HST moments include the Pig Lab for Cardiovascular Pathophysiology and Dr. Kettle's famous and charming TSH to HST slide. Scott is currently working on a research project at Massachusetts General Hospital involving large-scale chart review of all COVID-19 patients. Scott and his wife are very excited to be moving to sunny Austin, Texas for internship year before returning to North Carolina for his diagnostic radiology residency at Duke. Eran Hodis, graduating magna cum laude, also received the PhD from Harvard University. Eran was an NIH Medical Sciences Training Program trainee and a Dan David Prize Scholar. He held a Herschel Smith Fellowship, a Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship, and a Landry Cancer Research Fellowship. Eran was named a 2015 Forbes 30 Under 30 in Science and was awarded the Leon Resnick Memorial Prize for Research. During his program, Eran enjoyed teaching in the course Scrub 152 with Adrian Veris at Harvard College and spending time with family and friends. His most memorable moment was watching George Wang get painted in green full-body paint for the HMS Society Olympics. Eran looks forward to his residency in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Ruth Kagan. Ruth held an Alexandra J. Miliotis Fellowship in Pediatric Oncology Research and was a non-residential pre-medical tutor in Adams House at Harvard College. Ruth organized HST MD families for her class and created an HST Facebook for incoming HST MD students. Ruth's fondest memories of HST were the many wonderful gatherings, both formal and informal, including the HST formal at the end of first year, HST Thanksgivings, Yard House at the end of PCE, and many more. After 9 years in Boston, Ruth is moving home to New York City for her residency in internal medicine at Weill Cornell Medical Center, New York Presbyterian Hospital. Yoon Ji Kang. Yoon Ji was a member of the Crimson Care Collaborative, continuing her involvement from her undergraduate years. She participated in the first-year urban neighborhood campaign and volunteered at Rosie's Place Women's Shelter. Her memorable HST moments are far too many to count, from the Cardiology Pig Lab to HST formals to the innumerable moments she realized that she had the best classmates. Classmates who made care packages, shared study guides, threw surprise birthday parties, and kept her laughing through it all. After graduation, Yoon Ji will be starting her general surgery residency at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Jessie Kim. Jessie was a member of the Crimson Care Collaborative and Brigham Radiology Medical Student Triage Program. Some of her favorite moments occurred at the HST formal. Jessie is currently helping with the COVID outcome study and is enjoying spending quality time with family before her internship year at Cambridge Health Alliance, followed by a radiology residency at New York University. Patrick Lee. Patrick was a Howard Hughes Medical Institute Medical Research Fellow. He conducted cancer immunology research in Dr. Kathy Wu's lab at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Patrick served as the Awareness Chair for the HMS chapter of the Asian Pacific American Medical Student Association and served as Social Chair on the HST Joint Council. One memorable moment came in his first year when he and his HST class set an escape room record. Patrick will be moving back home to Los Angeles, where he will be starting an internal medicine residency at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Donna Leet, graduating magna cum laude. Donna received both a Soma Weiss Award for Excellence in Research and the Seidman Prize for Outstanding HST Senior Medical Student Thesis. She conducted translational cancer immunology research with Dr. Kathy Wu at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and outcomes research focused on immune-related adverse events of checkpoint blockade therapies with Dr. Mike Dugan at the Massachusetts General Hospital. Donna was a member of the Crimson Care Collaborative and a writer for 2 Minute Medicine. One favorite HST memory was a party at my house celebrating the end of ICM. Donna is hoping to do some hiking around Seattle before beginning her residency in internal medicine at the University of California in San Francisco. Amy Lee also received the PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Amy held a Margaret A. Cunningham Immune Mechanisms in Cancer Research Fellowship and a David H. Koch Graduate Fellowship. She was a member of the Crimson Care Collaborative in Revere Pediatrics. Amy has fond memories of the HMS Society Olympics. This spring, Amy helped with the Massachusetts General Hospital COVID-19 registry and was a virtual rounder with Brigham and Women's Hospital Special Pathogens Unit team. After graduation, Amy will begin her residency in pediatrics at Boston Children's Hospital, followed by fellowship in pediatric hematology oncology. Edward Binghang Lee also received the PhD from Harvard University. Ed believes the past 8 years in the HST program to be the most transformative years of his life. He loved every second of this incredible experience and will forever treasure the lifelong friendships formed over beers and lively scientific discussions. Ed earned the Derek Bok Award for Excellence in Teaching, served as assistant editor for the dermatology section of Visual DX, and represented student perspectives on the HST MD Admissions Committee and the HST MD Curriculum Committee. He is excited to start residency and his career as a physician scientist. Ed's internship will be in preliminary medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital, followed by a residency in advanced dermatology at Northwestern McGaw Hospital.
My name is June Kamihara. I'm an HST alum and the Associate Director for HST MD Student Advising. It is my honor to read the vignettes for the remaining HST MD graduates. Selena Lee. Selena was a Howard Hughes Medical Institute Medical Fellow, a James W. Brooks Resident Scholar, and the 2020 recipient of the Hollis L. Albright MD 31 Scholar Award. Outside of academics, Selena was a member of the MIT gymnastics team and the Boston Cannons dance team. She also volunteered with multiple non-governmental organizations in the Moria refugee camp in Lesvos, Greece. In HST, her most memorable time was a cardiac pig lab. She loved the anatomy and physiology, and little did she know that it would lead her to a future career in cardiac surgery. Selena is currently at Boston Hope Medical Center, working as part of the medical team responding to COVID-19. She will soon begin her residency in general surgery and cardiothoracic surgery at Massachusetts General Hospital. Malia McAvoy, graduating cum laude. Malia was the president of the American Association of Neurological Surgeons Harvard Student Group and a member of the MIT Intramural Tennis Team. She received a New England Pediatric Device Consortium Fellowship. Other honors include an Andrew Parsa Memorial Award for Best Brain Tumor Abstract from the Computational Neuroscience Outcomes Center, a poster session finalist from the Massachusetts chapter of the American College of Physicians, a Schuchart Medical Student Paper Award from the New England Neurological Society, and a Judah Folkman Prize for Clinical Translational Science Research. Her most memorable HST experience was a rooftop dinner at Alicia Smart's and late-night pizza in the HST Pathology Lab. Malia is currently developing 3D printed mask frames to replace defective bands for N95 masks. She is looking forward to her residency in neurological surgery at the University of Washington. Shirley Moe, graduating cum laude. Shirley was a member of the Crimson Care Collaborative. She also served as an RA in Vanderbilt Hall and participated in the Harvard Medical School Healthcare Management Interest Group. Outside the classroom, Shirley won a Massachusetts Sports Fishing Award for catching a chain pickerel ice fishing. Shirley will leave with good memories of HST birthday celebrations in between classes and during lecture breaks. She is headed to the University of California, San Francisco for a residency in internal medicine. Andrew Wynn. Andrew was the recipient of a Discover Brigham Research Excellence Award, an Elizabeth D. Hay Prize for Basic Science Research at the 78th Annual Semmelweis Research Day, and a Scholars in Medicine Research Fellowship. Andrew was a volunteer clinician at Massachusetts General Hospital and Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital for the Harvard Crimson Care Collaborative. He served on the Principal Clinical Experience Curriculum Committee, and he was a student ambassador for the Harvard Partnership for Health Advancement in Vietnam. His most memorable HST moment was beating the Home Society in tug of war at the HMS Society Olympics. Andrew will be starting his residency in internal medicine at Stanford University. Peyun Penny Ni, graduating cum laude. Penny was the president of the HMS Geriatrics and Palliative Care Student Interest Group, a student council representative to the HMS Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center Principal Clinical Experience, a Harvard Women's Center graduate mentor, and a resident advisor at Vanderbilt Hall. Penny was a recipient of a SF MNT Scholarship and an Arthur Lehman Fund Scholarship. Her most memorable moment was attempting dissection with her anatomy group. After 8 years in Boston, Penny is excited to be staying here for a residency in internal medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital. Anahita Ani Normaknad. Ani was awarded scholarships from the Albert Strickler Memorial Fund and the Samuel and Sarah Feynman Fund. She also received the Iranian American Scholarship Fund for her commitment to community service, and an Iranian Association of Boston Scholarship for a strong interest in Iranian culture and society. Ani was a co-president of the HMS chapter of the American Medical Women's Association, the co-founder and co-president of the Otolaryngology Interest Group, a residential advisor at Vanderbilt Hall, and the HST representative to the Multicultural Fellows Committee at Harvard Medical School. Ani most enjoyed celebrating the end of anatomy with her classmates and the best anatomy professors in the world over drinks and laughs. Ani will soon be starting a residency in otolaryngology, head and neck surgery at the University of Miami Jackson Memorial Hospital. Koyen O, graduating magna cum laude. Koyen served as the HST Student Government Joint Council MD co-chair and was a senior director for the Crimson Care Collaborative. She volunteered at the Massachusetts General Hospital Chelsea Respiratory Illness Clinic, the COVID-19 Health Literacy Project, Boston Hope Medical Center, and Brigham and Women's Hospital Visitor Screening. Koyen also enjoyed participating in the MIT Outing Club. Her most memorable moments in HST included giving cardiac massages in the pig lab, blowing up cows' lungs, and competing in the HMS Society Olympics with her favorite HST class. Koyen is moving to San Francisco, where she is super excited to be starting her residency in internal medicine at University of California, San Francisco. Alexis Peterson also received a master's degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Alexis is the co-founder of Parkinson's on the Move and a dancer in the Harvard Ballet Company. Her most memorable HST moment was choreographing and rehearsing the HST dance for the HMS Society Olympics, which included every member of her class. Alexis will soon begin her general internal medicine residency at Rhode Island Hospital, Brown University. Sanaa Rauf also received the PhD from Harvard University. Sanaa was named a 2019 Forbes 30 Under 30 in healthcare. She was a recipient of a NIH F30 Award, a National Excellence in Public Health Award from the Surgeon General's Office, and a George and Daisy Soros Fellowship. Sanaa also received a Harvard Medical School Excellence in Public Health Award. In March 2018, Sanaa provided medical education to local legislators and scientific testimony at the final hearing in New York's Nassau County Legislature to successfully raise the age for sale of tobacco from 18 to 21. Her most memorable moment was dancing at the HMS Society Olympics to Teach Me How to Study. Sanaa is looking forward to moving back home to New York City with husband Edie Nail and focusing on how to reduce the burden of lung cancer in America. Sanaa will complete a preliminary year in medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital, followed by a residency in radiation oncology at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Yakir Reshef, graduating magna cum laude, also received the PhD from Harvard University. Yakir was a recipient of a George and Daisy Soros Fellowship, a Dan David Prize, and a National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship. He was a resident tutor in music and science at Adams House and enjoys playing violin in chamber music groups. Yakir's most memorable moment was telling friends that he planned to get through medical school without flashcards or equivalent apps because he would learn why each thing was true, and then eating his own words within weeks. Yakir is excited to be expanding his family, expecting his second child this fall. Yakir will soon begin his internal medicine residency at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Justin Rice. Justin was a student clinician and then staffing director at the Crimson Care Collaborative at Massachusetts General Hospital, Chelsea. He would like to thank his devoted teachers and the HST staff for their dedication and encouragement, and his family for their unwavering support through many difficult years, career changes, and clinical rotations. He will always fondly remember the stimulating conversations he had with classmates during long runs along the Boston Esplanade. Justin is headed to New York for his residency in emergency medicine at New York University Grossman School of Medicine. Rachel Roden also received the PhD from Harvard University. Rachel was a recipient of a Stewart HQ and Victoria Kwan Fellowship in Neurobiology. Active in the HST and broader Harvard community, Rachel was an HST student admissions interviewer, an MD-PhD program student steering committee member, and a teaching assistant in the Foundations of Neuroscience course at Harvard Extension School. As a marathon runner, Rachel ran 7 marathons during her time in HST. Her most memorable HST moment was during the HMS Olympics, specifically the challenge where they had to create a gourmet meal only from ingredients purchased in Longwood area vending machines. Rachel will be staying in Boston for a residency in neurology in the combined Brigham Mass General program. Simone Sassi, graduating cum laude. As a Doris Duke Fellow, Simone worked in Malawi, studying risk factors for ceasing HIV treatment in women. She is currently involved in developing the student-led HMS COVID curriculum. Her most memorable HST moment is participating in the HST microbiome study in first year. Simone will be pursuing an obstetrics and gynecology residency at New York University. Clara Starkweather also received the PhD from Harvard University. Clara received a 2018 Regeneron Prize for Creative Innovation, a 2017 National Research Service Award, and the 2020 James Tolbert Shipley Prize for published research. When not engaged in academics, Clara enjoys cycling, jumping rope, and playing piano. A fond memory from HST was dancing around the campfire at the HST retreat. Recently, Clara served as a senior clinician at Massachusetts General Hospital, Chelsea. Leading a team of junior health professions students, they called hundreds of patients for COVID clinic follow-up. Clara will start a neurological surgery residency at University of California, San Francisco. Michael Tom. Michael was a class representative to the HST MD Curriculum Committee. He is participating in the COVID-19 response, interviewing patients about the impacts of physical distancing on their physical and mental health, and volunteering for the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center Crimson Care Clinic telemedicine for COVID patients. Outside of HMS and the hospitals, Michael is a member of Ruggles Baptist Church and helps lead Bible studies. He enjoys eating out with friends and is mastering the art of physical distancing. Michael's most memorable HST moment was spending the whole day at an autopsy. Michael will be staying in Boston for his residency in psychiatry at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Matthew Weber. Matt served as president of the Orthopedic Surgery Interest Group for 2 years and was featured on HBO's Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel to showcase his work with robotic exoskeletons at the MIT Media Lab. For this work, he was also invited to be a panelist at San Diego Comic-Con, but unfortunately his schedule wouldn't allow it. His most memorable HST moments were being able to DJ and bartend for many HST community get-togethers. Matt will be at Massachusetts General Hospital for his residency in surgery.
My name is Emery Brown, and I'm the MIT co-director of the HST program. Our next graduates are receiving the PhD degree. HST's Medical Engineering and Medical Physics PhD program brings together medicine, engineering, and science in a unique curriculum for individuals who want to have impact on patient care by developing innovations to prevent, diagnose, and treat disease. Colin Buss. Colin was the recipient of the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. He was active in the community as a member of the HST Joint Council, a student representative to the HST IMES Committee on Academic Programs, and a graduate resident tutor at MIT's Massey Hall, an undergraduate dorm. Some of Colin's favorite times were socializing with classmates at the Muddy Charles Pub after first-year classes. Colin is now working as an intellectual property technology specialist at Wolf Greenfield & Sachs in Boston. Jesse Kirkpatrick. Jesse received the Ludwig Center for Molecular Oncology Graduate Fellowship. He was a member of MIT's ballroom dance team and enjoyed working in the broader community, leading scientific workshops and demonstrations for middle, elementary, and high school students. One of Jesse's most memorable moments during his PhD program was getting grilled by a panel of brilliant and somewhat intimidating professors during the Broad Institute's Shark Tank pitch competition. Jesse plans to continue his research in the Bhatia lab for one more year as he applies to medical school. Daniel Lopez Martinez. Daniel was the recipient of a La Caja Fellowship. He also received multiple awards in business plan competitions, including Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew Global Business Plan Competition for non-contact video-based physiological sensing technologies. Following their development of a digital health platform for tracking progression of Lyme disease at the Lyme Innovation Hackathon, Daniel and his team were invited to present their idea at the White House Open Data Summit in Washington, D.C. Outside of the classroom, Daniel enjoys mountaineering, once climbing Mount Kilimanjaro on New Year's Day while wearing MIT biosensors to analyze his heart rate variability during the climb. In terms of academics, Daniel loved every second of human pathology. The highlight of his time in the program was his HST colleagues and all the memories they made together. He says, "It was a wonderful experience to share this journey with such excellent and thoroughly able people." Daniel is at Google Health in Mountain View, California, working on machine learning for medical applications. Erica Ellis Mason. Erica received numerous fellowships. She was a National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellow, an NIH Advanced Multimodal Neuroimaging Trainee, and an NIH Neuroimaging Trainee. Outside of academics, Erica enjoys yoga and hand balancing. Erica will miss stopping by Lori's office for big hugs every time she visited the HST Student Lounge in E25. Erica's future plans are to be determined. For now, she is continuing to work on magnetic particle imaging at the MGH Martino Center. Harry Michael McNamara. Harry was a National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellow in Professor Adam Cohen's lab at Harvard, where he used optogenetics to create synthetic bioelectric tissues and control zebrafish development. Outside of the lab, he helped lead the Coneheads volleyball team to middling success in the Rhino Cup. He also co-founded C16 Biosciences, where he was a prize winner in the Harvard President's Innovation Challenge and subsequently funded by Y Combinator and Breakthrough Energy Ventures. His most memorable HST experience was feigning during the path autopsy. Lesson learned: don't skip breakfast. Antoine Ramier. Antoine received the Quebec Research Fund Nature and Technology Doctoral Fellowship. He was a member of the MIT Sailing Pavilion and an organizer of the New England Symposium on Biomedical Optics. His most memorable moment in HST was during the first pathology class. Real organs. things got real quicker than he was expecting. Antoine is happily reunited with his partner Emile in Quebec and has started a new position with GHG SAT, where he is helping to fight global warming with satellite technology. Shreya Srinivasan. Shreya was a 2020 Lumelson MIT graduate student winner and a 2020 Schmidt Science Fellow. She was also awarded the 17th Annual Delcis Prize and named a Junior Fellow in the Harvard Society of Fellows. Shreya was a member of the Anubhava Dance Company, participated in MIT Hacking Medicine, and served as a mentor in MIT D Labs. A favorite memory was the Trans-Med course. By going to South Africa, she learned firsthand about the nature of research to combat specific diseases. This was incredibly enlightening and led to a lot of great bonding with classmates. In response to COVID-19, Shreya has been working on a device, the Individualized System for Augmenting Ventilator Efficacy, iSave, to split ventilation more safely between two patients. She recently started a postdoc at MIT in Professor Giovanni Traverso's subgroup of the Langer Lab, where she will be working on neuromodulation in the gut. She hopes to pursue a career in academia. Roman Stolyarov. Roman was a member of MIT's Biometronics group, which focuses on development of robotic prostheses and exoskeletons. His work on terrain adaptive prostheses was funded by a National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship. Roman was also an MIT Presidential Fellow and received the Martha Gray Prize for Biomedical Devices. Beyond his research, Roman was an avid ballroom dancer and spent 3 years competing with the MIT ballroom dance team. His favorite moment in graduate school was having skateboard legend Rodney Mullen say he was stoked by his work during a personal lab tour. Roman is now working as a robotic scientist at Active Surgical in Boston.
To all of our graduates, I join with your families and friends in wishing you many years of success and discovery. May your gratification no longer be delayed. May all your experiments work perfectly at least twice. And may all your grants be funded on their first cycle. May all your intellectual property be recognized for its genius, and all your entrepreneurial ventures be richly supported by angels. May all your nights on call be filled with sleep, and may all your loan officers at the bank lose your addresses. Congratulations on a job well done and a journey well begun.
Congratulations.
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 Yay.
Hey, you made it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm proud of you.
Yay.
Congratulations. We love you. Stay in touch. Tell us about babies and jobs and futures. We love you.